Welcome back, everyone. I'm Marvin Jackson here on Metro Scene, and I am joined by Shalom Omo Asagi. And welcome to the show.
Hi, Marvin. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Shalom is up and coming and already a star as a filmmaker and actress.
It makes me nervous. Every time I see his smile, it makes me think of Father before we saw him last. Then I think of Mother and how in all her predictions she never mentioned her leaving us.
First, let's talk about this award you got.
Our film that we just released back in the summertime of 2021, Tale of Tarot, it won Best Director and then Best Actress for the Miami Indie Film Awards. And that was amazing to get two, awards at the same time. It was great.
Let's talk a little bit about before those awards and where you're from. And you're a Bowie State alum, and you also played volleyball there. So talk a little bit about your background, and so people will know where you're from and who you are.
Yes, of course. So I am originally from Baltimore, Maryland. That is my city. That is my home. I claim that forever. But yeah, so I was born in Baltimore, and I actually went to a school called Patapsco Center for the Arts. And it was a high school that also had arts disciplines. So I was able to kind of hone my craft mostly there from ninth grade until 12th grade when I was a senior and I graduated. I actually went to Goucher College first for my first 2 semesters of college, and then I winded up transferring to get that HBCU experience. Um, so I went to Bowie State and really enjoyed my time there. I actually winded up walking on to the volleyball team and then getting a scholarship too that same year. And then played volleyball while juggling, doing theater and kind of just like being able to have the best of both worlds. But I was really glad to have made that transfer because I winded up getting a lot of great experiences, great memories, but also great things to like take me into my future career from, the theater department there, and got my degree in 2020 in the height of the pandemic. So that was interesting too. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of background of me and how I got to here.
So you got a little bit of that HBCU experience before the pandemic, but it was a little tough, I'm sure, that at the end. But you came out of it very well.
Thank you.
You know, talk about that volleyball experience and what that does for you as far as helping you in the rest of your career and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So I feel like ever since I was in high school, and even going into college, sports always really helped like hone in my leadership skills, my competitiveness, and kind of just channel those things into ways of implementing them into my career. So as far as filmmaking goes, being able to communicate well on the court, also helped with being able to communicate with people when you're on set, and understanding that it takes a team to create that sort of project or whatever the outcome is that you want for what you're working on. It takes a group of people and not just one person. But then also I was very passionate about sports, so it just translated into giving 110% in my career, just like I give 110% when I would play and when I was on the court.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
I can identify with that myself, being a college athlete myself at one time. Let's talk about your theater experience at Bowie State. You did a lot right on campus before you became a filmmaker.
Yes, absolutely. I had some amazing professors, Professor Bartlett, shout out to you, and Professor Velasco, Professor Kay, like all of them, Dr. Medford, when I was first there, all of them really helped me like be able to use Bowie State as a platform for all of the, whether it was a wacky idea I had that I wanted to try, whether it was, just a performance that needed to be done. I kind of assumed like that position very quickly with them, like as a faculty when I first came in. And I kind of got thrown into a production and asked to like coordinate it and, be the stage manager for it and the producer for it. And it was my first year being there. So that kind of just told you like how the rest of my college career went. It kind of went like that. I was very heavily involved in the, productions as far as stage managing or as far as producing or directing. But then I had my moments where, I was able to shine and be on stage. I'll probably say my favorite production that we've done was Godspell. That was actually my first production there that I got to perform in. And it was just a blast. I got to shine. I ended up winning an Irene Ryan Award and going to the Kennedy Center to, compete for it and like, further competitions. But yeah, I was able to kind of really hone in all of my skills as far as writing, directing, and acting through the, the Bowie State Theater Department.
Kudos to that theater department at Bowie State. And, you're still pretty young and you're getting awards already and doing all kind of things. Talk about, what it takes to be a good actor or filmmaker. What do you think are the keys to that?
When I hear this question, I'm like, oh, what is what is the best way, to be? And I feel like honestly, when it comes to filmmaking specifically, I'd say the way to be the best filmmaker is to just use your resources, use what's around you. A lot of times people are looking for, they're looking up for their opportunities or they're trying to like reach up to grab things. And it's kind of like, no, look at what's beside you. Issa Rae said it best. And I really resonate with her as a filmmaker because you never know who the person sitting next to you could be in the next 5 years or the next 6 years from now. So it's better to look at your community and look at who's around you and kind of build with those people. And then like on the acting side, I would say, are you training? Are you auditioning? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you networking? Are you practicing? Because a lot of times people think, oh, like I can just do things here and there and I'd be okay. But acting, a lot of times people don't see the behind the scenes part. They see the glitz and glamour, but it's a long time of like, preparation, sometimes a lot of waiting and a lot of no's, but you have to be okay with who you are as a person first and foremost, but then like you have to rely on your talent and believe in yourself, I would say. Yeah.
Let's talk about the films that you've been working on. The one that you got the awards, that was pretty awesome. It is a period piece. I looked at it. It was just great to watch. I love period pieces. So
thank you.
I thought that was pretty excellent. But why a period piece? And talk about that film.
Absolutely. So I also really love period pieces. It is one of the genres I feel that you don't see Black people as often. And if you do see them, they're, projected in the, we're slaves, basically. And I have always wondered, like, why has no one made, a Bridgerton for us? Why has no one made like a Pride and Prejudice for us? We like period pieces. We like fantasy. So I at first was going to say, okay, well, maybe that's a passion project I can work on for the next few years. But then I said, no, I have a production company. Let me do it now. And that's kind of how it came about. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun trying to, get the costumes, the location, like it was a lot, but it was very fun in the process.
It must be tough actually producing, directing, and acting at the same time. How tough is that?
It's tough, but it's not too tough. Like for Dante's Inferno, the newest film that we have coming out, that is the one where I did all three. And it was interesting because I had to kind of take my mind out of the thought that like, oh, if I'm acting, if I'm on camera right now, what do I look like? I had to stop thinking about that, When I was directing, I'm not thinking about, how I did in the other scene when I was acting. And then when I was producing, I, kind of took that hat off before we started production. But, I just try to like pace myself as much as possible because I am my own worst critic sometimes. So I just try to give myself a little grace.
All right, and talk about the difference between those two films, because I don't believe Dante's Inferno is a period piece, right?
It is not. It is actually another, I guess, genre that I can say that I really, really enjoy, and that's the thriller, psycho thriller kind of genre. And the fact that it was set in an HBCU. I am a product of an HBCU, so I would like to see a lot more, HBCU projects out there that replicate, the actual HBCU experience, written by people that either went to HBCUs or written by people that, just have that experience and are able to talk about, what it actually feels like to be on an HBCU campus. But, sprinkling a little bit of like thriller and suspense in there was a lot more fun than just, yeah.
Talk about those two awards again. What were those awards and what were they for?
Yes, so the first award that we got was for Best Director. And of course, these are for Taylor Taro. And that was the Best Director award was given to our director for Taylor Taro. His name's Alexander Hammett. And then our assistant director, Angel Taylor Carr. They are also my associate producers and they're awesome. And I was really glad to see them get that award because they deserved it. And then I actually received the Best Actress award for my role as Isla.
Count towards our dance together.
You're so demanding, Mr. Esau.
I suppose it's my demeanor when I find it appropriate.
And you played it very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so, congrats on all of that. Keep doing more, because I'd just like to just say, you're joining a long line of Bowie State entertainers and actors and filmmakers. Like Amy Keyes started it out back around the end of the 70s. And then you had Toni Braxton, you got Tico Wells, who was a great actor from Bowie State, Wale, a great entertainer. And then you got Jovan Adepo. He has been in Fences with Denzel Washington. Miles Frost is up on Broadway now, about to play MJ. So you joined that long list, and just like to say congrats to you and keep doing great things.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Metro Scene. We'd like to thank Roz White for joining us earlier. She's from 7 Guitars, which will be playing at Arena Stage through December. And also, let's thank Shalom Omo Asagi. She's already won awards as an actress, and she's a graduate of Bowie State University. So for Metro Scene, I'm Marvin Jackson. We'll see you next time, everybody.